Welcome to the Big Play Cleveland Show. It's a Browns win, baby. Ohio State notches another dub. The Cavs are 3-0. And Nick, we have finally eclipsed that 20 points for our Brownies. Jameis Winston under center. This team looked totally different. What are your thoughts?
It's crazy what happens, guys, and we've talked about it on this show kind of ad nauseum, but you score 20 points or more, your quarterback has 200 passing yards or more for the first time this entire season, and our Cleveland Browns are victorious. Chris, it was such a great experience at Huntington Bank Field, that entire game. It really felt like a new energy surrounding this Cleveland Browns team right now.
Yeah, what a difference a week makes. You take us back a week to the Cincinnati Bengals game. Very negative vibes. You saw Watson go down. You had a lot of negativity this week with the players, with the fans, all over social media. Then this week, I really wasn't expecting a whole lot out of our Cleveland Browns. We saw them, however, respond. Jameis Winston under center out there, involving a lot of guys in the offense, moving the ball. Like you said, finally scoring over 20 points, throwing for over 300 yards. It was nice to see the offense energized. The defense played well in spurts as well. And we saw that the entire crowd there. It was a fun environment to be in. You know, we were right in the middle of it, and it was fun to be downtown. It was fun to be at the stadium and fun to watch an offense that actually worked on the field.
Chris, and it's like the fans knew, the levity of that game. I mean, the Ravens were the hottest team in the NFL. The Browns bust their win streak. That's the number one offense in the league, and the defense goes out there and looks really good. They looked rested because the offense gave them a chance to compete in that game. The offense gave them a chance to stop Lamar Jackson at the end. It was really nice to see the inverse of what we've been used to all season long, and it was the offense getting things done for the Cleveland Browns. 29 points scored. I mean, that's what a real NFL offense looks like. Now you guys have seen it. We'll talk about the Browns a little bit more moving forward. But, yeah, it was a fun, really fun day out there at the stadium.
And I'll tell you one of the biggest differences, too, because people keep asking, well, what is the difference in the offense? And obviously Jameis Winston being behind center is the biggest factor in that. And the reason being is that if you watch Deshaun Watson the week before, he was still holding on to that football awful long. And you saw Jameis Winston yesterday. Quick decisions. He was delivering the ball on schedule, on time to his receivers. When he was running, he was finding guys downfield. But the majority of his plays were made within the offense that Ken Dorsey had laid out, within the playmaking that they had laid out for him. And it was nice to see him actually execute what I think was the vision all the way along. We go back to Flacco last year. He was able to execute the offense. Now this year we're seeing with Jameis Winston, quick decision-making, Nick.
Chris, and it works. Now we know for sure it works. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to get fooled a third time, guys, with all of this, because now we've seen it work with Joe Flacco. We've seen it work with Jameis Winston. There's one common denominator that just can't figure out how to make Kevin Stefanski's offense work, and that's Deshaun Watson. The Browns were winning games last year against the San Francisco 49ers, class of the league, with P.J. Walker. Dorian Thompson-Robinson won the Browns a game last year. The path forward for this team has never been clearer, and that's also part of what made Sunday's victory against the Ravens that much more sweet.
Yeah, and I think also working within the offense, one of the things that we kept talking about with Deshaun Watson, a lot of people were pointing out that the offensive line was not getting the job done. But what we saw yesterday is, boy, you can really cover up a lot of the mistakes along the offensive line if you're making quick decisions as a quarterback and making plays within the offense, because it doesn't give those defenders a chance to get to you. And that's what Jameis Winston was doing yesterday.
That veteran confidence was surely on display. The other thing, the other energy that was in the stadium, undeniably, 25 years from Jim Donovan, and we were paying respects to him. I got to show McNeil's meme. Obviously, so many of McNeil's memes are hilarious. This one was just a beautiful tribute with the Browns win in the stadium, and Jimmy above there. You could feel that presence. Maybe he was pointing the sun in Bateman's eyes, or, we got a couple things to go our way throughout the game yesterday, but certainly want to pay tribute to a guy who's just a total legend, the voice of the Cleveland Browns for, again, like I said, 25 years, a beautiful illustrator, so much passion he brought to the job. He will be so missed.
And you could definitely feel it within the stadium him there. They did the nice montage at the beginning. He was definitely on the hearts and minds of all of the fans that were there all day. And certainly every time you saw something odd happen on the field, a drop for the Ravens, dropped interception, everybody was pointing to the sky. And then after the game, you know, I saw that opportunity to post something, my little tribute to him, because he's meant so much to me as a lot of people around who aren't able to watch all the games, and you have family, you have other things going on, and you listen to Jim Donovan. You listen. He is the guy that narrates your life during the fall for a lot of people, and certainly for me as well. And you also have the people that like to turn down the TV and listen to Jim Donovan because he was so good, so electric, and really brought so much life to the Browns, even when the Browns themselves didn't necessarily bring a whole lot of positivity.
Yeah, so much passion. That's the word that I would use to describe Jim Donovan. And I was glad to see the Browns play with a little bit of passion for Jimmy in that game against the Baltimore Ravens, because he brought that to everything that he did. And I feel like that's such a unique way to approach sportscasting and play-by-play. Nobody really did that job quite like Jim Donovan did, and we'll probably never see anyone do that job quite like Jim Donovan ever did again. You know, he was such an inspiration to me and so many other young people in this field to kind of get their career started. So definitely a massive, massive loss. And obviously our prayers are with the entire Donovan family throughout this time. And it was cool to see as well Stefanski and Barry go straight from the stadium to deliver that ball to his wife and his daughter, Megan. It was just really classy from the Browns to do that.
And one of the unique things is he was a fan, too. Yeah. And that would come out in the broadcast. You don't see that a whole lot, even with the home announcers. That certainly came through the Run, William, Run. You know, all of those great calls that we saw that we would make as fans as well. You could feel that energy. You knew he was one of us. So we've lost just an absolute icon here in Cleveland.
That win was certainly for Jim Donovan, and we'll look to keep winning. I mean, this could be a huge pivot. Just everything was so different, and you guys were both at the stadium. You felt that difference within. So we're going to take our first break, and we'll be back so we can dive into our Browns win over the Ravens.
How you doing?
That was fast.
A little bit.
Oh my gosh, you just came out of nowhere. What's your 40?
4-2.
Oh, you being Deion Sanders. Okay, here at Swinson's, what we want, guys?
I want a galley boy.
What?
So sounds like he's been here before.
We've heard about this popular galley boy. Yes.
What's a galley boy?
So a galley boy is their most popular burger, right?
Yep, it'll be our double cheeseburger with a house-made sweet barbecue and a house-made white sauce.
Ooh,
yummy.
Okay, we know about some barbecue. You got a kid's cheeseburger?
Yeah, of course.
TT, what would you like?
A cheeseburger and milkshake.
What type of milkshake you want, Bug?
Strawberry.
And then
caramel.
Yes.
caramel and a caramel milkshake.
So how many milkshake flavors do they have, Anthony?
18.
Do you have 18?
100.
Right around 18.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe a couple extras with the seasonals, but
Yes, what's the seasonal?
I think pumpkin.
Yeah, you're on top of it.
yeah, we just started it too.
You did?
Started earlier this week.
Yeah, it's a
That'd be
pumpkin
good.
season.
I just wanted to try the quarter pounder with cheese. What are there's like a stuffed tater tot? What is that we saw? I mean,
The potato teasers.
the potato teasers.
Yeah.
They're really teasers. I'm gonna try the galley boy.
The Galley Boy?
I want to try the fries. Do you want to share those potato cheeses or you want your own potato cheeses?
I want my own.
Okay. So we'll start with that for now. But if we want more, could we,
Absolutely.
what do we do to,
I'm going to ask you to turn your lights off once we're all done this first time, and then if you guys need any help, have any questions, or need to order again, just lights back on. We'll be right back out there.
okay. All right, thank you. Oh my gosh. You can hear the change in his pockets like going. It's like Jingle Bells is coming to town. The Jingle Bell song go.
Jingle bell, jingle bell.
So Malachi, quick little trivia. Okay, because you are the history guy, so we're gonna see if you did your homework. What year was Swinson's created?
1934.
High five, my guy.
1934, great job.
1934.
Okay,
Good job, TT.
good job, T. That was excellent. Who was the inventor of Swinson's cheeseburger?
Ooh.
Oh, great job.
Name.
Pop. Yes, I call my daddy Pops. Wesley Pop Winston. That's a great one. Okay, Swenson is known a lot for their milkshakes. How many milkshake flavors outside?
18.
I ain't finished. Like, you have definitely done your homework, man. I'm proud of you. Where was the first Swenson's open?
South Pocket.
Oh my gosh, how did you get that?
I don't know.
Alrighty.
You got a small strawberry shake.
TT,
TT, that's you.
what do you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Small caramel shake.
Oh, caramel. The tray can be on the window?
On the window.
What? Oh my gosh. So we get to keep this tray on our window.
Can be our secret.
Okay. One thing that we did desire, we wanted to try the Ohio cherry soda.
Yeah.
And we would like to try the California grape soda.
Okay.
This is the coolest thing ever. Like, I ain't never seen no tray that just stick on your window.
And they bring it to your car.
That's what I'm saying. They bring the tray to your car and they put it on your window. Oh, TT. That look good.
They're really good.
Cheeseburgers.
They
Potato
taste like
teasers.
cheese fries.
Potato teasers.
Yeah, tastes like cheese fries.
All right, I'm about to taste the galley boy.
I'm gonna open it.
I like the barbecue. It's better than I expected. I really did. I can't even lie. Like, this is actually good. This is really, really good. The bun is soft. Nah, I really want to know what that fried bologna sandwich tastes like. The meat's so tender.
Questions you have exceeded my expectations.
Listen, let me tell you something. The Cleveland food scene has exceeded our expectations.
Seriously. I haven't had a bad meal yet. At least you haven't said a word. That's how you know it's good.
Let me try these. Do any of y'all want to try potato teasers? They got jalapeno poppers. Oh my goodness, there they go. There they go. Thank you so much.
It's good. Very refreshing.
Amy, would you like to try a galley burger? There you go.
Thank you, sir.
And the California grape soda is good. What did the Ohio taste like, baby?
Like a cherry soda. A classic cherry soda. You know, like in the glass bottle.
Yes. It's sweet. Yes, it's real good. Did you ever had a sloppy joe? An egg salad.
What do you think, bub? Well, you ate your whole cheeseburger?
Yeah, you ate all your
High
cheeseburgers.
five, bub.
I think it's something like eating in the car. It just kind of makes you so comfortable.
Yeah,
You just eat how you ever want to
just
eat.
enjoy it.
The
We
fries
didn't
are
talk about
underrated.
the fries enough.
Why
The fries are really good.
But I feel like if you could just make fresh fries, you're gonna be good.
But they got a little seasoning salt on
They just got salt on them.
them. They got a little seasoning salt on them.
I ain't seen no red seasoning salt on
I
them.
don't know. You see that red.
Babe, we can ask them the ingredients,
We can, okay, ask him when he comes back.
and they gonna say just salt.
Okay.
Okay, what was the question that we had?
On the fries, what seasoning's on the fries?
Just salt and pepper.
No seasoning salt? Just white salt?
Regular salt and pepper.
No Lowers back there, no seasoning salt on them. All
No
right.
seasoning salt.
So no
Okay, okay, I was wrong too, babe. I didn't say pepper. Gotta try a fried bologna sandwich. And you know what? I'm gonna get another one of these
California.
Californias, yeah.
Alabama.
This is not
This
the
is
type
not
of
the
bologna.
bologna sandwich that we're used to. It's a thin piece of bologna with a white thing, red
This
ring
is some
that you
thick
take off.
bologna.
It's like this big. But bologna comes in all different
I know,
shapes
but it
and
has to be
sizes.
hydrating because of the mustard. The mustard and the onions. The onions is a
Good
very good
taste.
vegetable.
Let us know how it tastes.
I'm a Nintendo. Wait, what?
The more I look at it, the more I realize that this is not a bologna sandwich.
Why it's not pink?
This is like some chicken breast.
Can I please have
This thing is thick. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I was overwhelmed with these layers.
I forgot the name of the.
I said, when I thought about bologna, I was not thinking, this is the thickest piece of bologna I ever seen in my life. It's a thick bologna sandwich, but it's really good, actually. I really can't stop eating it. I ain't gonna lie, Swensons. Y'all need to make bologna mattress toppings. Oh my God. That was
You
thick.
ate it.
It was good though.
And you didn't. Y'all didn't want to taste it.
No, they didn't want to taste it.
Thank you. Did you guys enjoy your food? What would you rate Swenson's?
CT, what you?
1,000 out of 1,000.
CT, what's your rating? 18 out of 18. Okay, 10 out of 10.
Actually,
I just feel so connected to LeBron James because I'm eating at one of his spots. That was the thickest bologna sandwich I ever had in my life. Y'all should start branding mattress toppers. And you should get bologna mattress toppers. The people in Cleveland will have some of the best sleep they've ever had. So how was our Winston Impossible Mission? It tastes good? Did it taste like a W?
yeah.
Okay, in W's, we love the Galley Boy. The bologna sandwich was one of the most thick, amazing meals that we've had in our entire life. I think that was the pea teasers.
Yep.
They were definitely not a tease. We really enjoyed them. They gave it all. How was the French fries, boys?
Good.
And the milkshakes?
And the milkshakes were superb as well. I would say that my favorite had to be the California, but I think the Ohio was amazing as well. Thank you so much, Swinson, for allowing the Winstons to come and dine in, drive in with you.
Welcome back to the Big Play Cleveland Show. It is time for our Garage Beer featured interview, and we're bringing on a returning guest for us, Cleveland Browns insider for the OBR, Noah Weiskopf. Thanks so much for joining us. We do want to ask you right away, what is the biggest difference on offense, obviously besides Jameis Winston, that you're seeing from this game against the Ravens versus the rest of the season we've had so far?
The offensive line, 100%. They allowed Jameis Winston the most time to throw of any quarterback since 2018 with just over 4.23 seconds. It was unbelievable, their protection. They allowed Winston to be decisive, to sit back in the pocket, wait for someone to get open and deliver the ball. But yes, the offensive line, 100%. They played phenomenally. Jedrick Wills obviously out. DeJuan Jones got the start at left tackle. But that was their best and most put together game that they've had all of this season, all things considered, and definitely allowed this offense to open itself up quite a bit.
Noah, a lot of the lead up, a lot of the talk was about play calling duties, the fact that Ken Dorsey was taking over for Kevin Stefanski. Was that Kevin Stefanski giving up the play calling, or was that something organizationally they forced Ken Dorsey basically to take them over from Kevin Stefanski?
I think that was Kevin's decision. He's shown enough and throughout his tenure in Cleveland that he's capable of calling plays and calling a good game. I think that a change was needed. Now you can argue that maybe that change should have happened a little bit earlier and maybe you would have saw some different outcomes with Deshaun. But nevertheless, they changed the play calling, allowed Jameis to go out there and be himself, get under center, run the football, get in that play action game and get him comfortable early. I think that was the biggest key. And maybe there's something just between Jameis and Ken Dorsey that is just clicking. It just makes more sense. And I think we saw that this weekend, and we'll see if that continues, and we'll see if the two of them are on the same page on a week-to-week basis.
No, obviously the Browns didn't walk out of that game completely unscathed. As Denzel Ward goes down with concussion, and then the very scary scene with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. From an injury standpoint, what do you think that means for the Browns defense as we look forward to move ahead to the LA Chargers? You know Harbaugh's going to want to run that ball.
I'll start with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. That one was really scary. I know there were some conflicting reports out there. Maybe it was a leg injury that he got trapped under Derrick Henry, but it was a neck injury that he had after colliding with Derrick Henry. There were positive updates yesterday and early this morning out of the hospital where Jeremiah was overnight, just as a precaution. So hoping that he is able to get back out there for his sake, for the team's sake, and especially this defense's sake. They need him. He's been all over the place. But on the other hand, Denzel Ward, the concussion is his 6th known concussion. So very, very scary situation there. Definitely a possibility that he's going to miss an extended period of time. We'll see, what the opinions are that he gets from doctors, from the Browns themselves. But yeah, 6th concussion, really scary, and potentially they could look to shut him down for the rest of the season. That might be in his best interest and in the organization's best interest for him.
Wow.
Let's talk about Jameis Winston a little bit. I think his contract extends through next season. Do you think this is a guy, he's 30 years old, a guy who the Browns could bring back maybe after that, even for a bridge to the next quarterback? Do you think that they look at him as, hey, maybe this is our quarterback for the next few years? Where do you think the Browns right now stand on Jameis Winston?
I think they love what he brings. His leadership, of course, off the field, as you guys know, is a huge part of everything. But then on the field, you saw what he did yesterday, and that's what you're going to get with Jameis. That's what you got with Joe Flacco. There were opportunities that were there for the Ravens to really put this game away. Kyle Hamilton dropped an interception to put this game away, but Jameis is going to keep throwing it. And I think that is the biggest key, is that he's not going to shy back. He's going to make a mistake. Quarterbacks make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes. And I know that there's that tweet that's being thrown around, if he's going to lead, he can lead the league in touchdowns and interceptions. And I really think that that's what you can get as a guy that's going to go out there and give his receivers a chance to make plays on the football. We saw that with David Njoku there early. We saw it with Cedric Tillman down the field late. So I think that they are really confident in him and his ability moving forward. Now, it's obviously going to be a big question mark of what they're going to do with Deshaun Watson. Is he going to be on this roster? It's hard to envision a road in which he's not, given his contract and dead cap hit and all those kinds of things. So I don't know if they're going to be bringing in a third quarterback. I don't know if they're going to run this back, but I do know that they believe in Jameis Winston, and this is why they brought him to Cleveland to begin with, because of his ability to lead a team and win games on the field.
No. You mentioned Tillman real quick. You mentioned him. Do you think that him looking like he did yesterday is a product of Jameis Winston? He did look like a totally different player. Or what have you thought about him all along?
It's opportunity. He has not had the biggest opportunities in the past, last year especially, now leading up to this year at the beginning with Amari Cooper there. He didn't have that opportunity to play consistently on the field, to find his rhythm. And I think you really saw him in these past 2 weeks. He's really come along. So excited to see what he can do for the rest of the season and to see if he can be a wide receiver of the future for this team.
No, we took Jameis to Swenson's right before we brought you on. What's your go-to Swenson's order?
I'm a double cheeseburger kind of guy. I think
their
cheeseburgers are really good. I'm usually a burger and a milkshake kind of guy. I'm not really any of the sides. What is his order and what is your order?
So it was his first time. You'll have to watch it. We're gonna play it right before we bring in. But dude, he tried everything. And he liked the Galley Boy was his favorite. So we'll leave that there.
Well, maybe that'll be good for him on the field.
Hey, one of the other things we saw yesterday out of the offense is not only Cedric Tillman, you saw Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, these guys that we had thought, boy, if we can unlock these guys, maybe we have something in our wide receiver core. Obviously, Jameis was able to do it. Is this a product of this offense? Is this a product of Jameis? Where do you put that onus on?
They're all really talented receivers, and that's the thing, is you really do need to unlock them. Now, I will pump the brakes a little bit because I know Baltimore's pass defense is ranked dead last in the league, and they were without their top two corners. So I will pump the brakes a little bit on that.
I was going to say, we didn't mention the two corners being out.
They are really talented, and they've had success in this league. It's just a matter of continuing and making it consistent. So I don't know necessarily. You're not going to see every week. You're not going to see David Njoku, Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore, and Jerry Jeudy having great games. That's just not realistic. But I do think that each of them have the ability to have a good game. So I think that's big for this team moving forward, and it's going to give them a lot of options of this receiving room in the future.
As long as my boy Jeff Swaim gets his touches, that's all I'm worried about. How about that? He's finding third-string tight ends out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just a matter of spreading the ball around, and I think that is the key for any quarterback, is being open-minded and just finding the open guy, moving off of your progressions, moving off of your reads. I think that's really important. I think that's something Deshaun really struggled with, and something Jameis did really well yesterday, is just moving off of your number one, go to your second read, go to your third read, and make the best decision.
No, I know you're down there in Columbus. We got a big one this weekend. It feels weird saying, it feels like the Buckeyes need to bounce back against Penn State, but they do. They need to look much better against Penn State. How excited are you to take that trip over to Happy Valley this weekend?
It's going to be quite the atmosphere, and I've really heard it was. I've never been, but having been to Eugene now for this season, I don't know if anything's going to be able to top that atmosphere. They had their biggest size of their stadium ever at 60,000, and I can confidently tell everyone watching this that it sounded like 150,000 there. It was remarkable, phenomenal college atmosphere, and I'm expecting a very, very similar one this weekend in Happy Valley, and especially big noon kickoff, college game day, former President Trump, all of them being there. We're we're looking to get there probably, 5 hours early.
Love it. Noah Weiskopf, huge thanks to him for popping on the Big Play Cleveland show with us. Make sure to go follow Noah on social media at Browns with Noah. Noah, appreciate you, bro.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks,
For sure.
Noah.
More of the Big Play Cleveland show right after this. Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland show. Huge thanks to our guy Browns with Noah for popping on. Noah Weiskopf, always fun to talk to him. Noah brought to you guys by our friends over at Northeast Factory Direct. Folks, you got to go check out Northeast Factory Direct. But when you do, go in person. You could always go to northeastfactorydirect.com. But when you check them out in person, you're truly going to see that it's a unique furniture buying experience. It's a literally empty warehouse filled with furniture. If you've got a truck, if you rent a U-Haul, you could take that stuff out of Northeast Factory Direct and into your home same day. If you're like me and you're impatient, go check them out in Macedonia, North Canton, Euclid, all their great locations. Make sure to ask for that extra special Big Play bonus and they'll hook you guys up. You'll thank us later. Guys, great chatting with Browns with Noah. I think the biggest thing that he said there was the offensive line looked awesome for the Browns on Sunday, and I think a lot of that just comes with the fact that the quarterback was on time. He was in rhythm. He was doing the things that we were begging to see out of these Cleveland Browns, and it was really nice to see Jameis be able to stay upright throughout most of that game.
And he was decisive. Right off the bat, it was amazing how quickly that ball was coming out, and it was good to see that he consistently did that all afternoon. Now, like we said, there were a couple of drops from the defenders, so we're going to see some interceptions out of Jameis, but he'll certainly take his shots, and he'll do so decisively, and that moves the football for the Cleveland Browns, and that's something we have not seen this season.
Another piece of it, too, and we'd be remiss to not, and I'm glad Noah brought it up, was that Ravens secondary, even when healthy, is awful. Yeah. And they were without Marlon Humphrey. They were without Nate Wiggins. They were without all of their top players in that secondary. So as great as that win feels, the Browns can't get too high on that victory. And now it's like anything, Chris. You got to sustain it. You've got to be able to sustain getting Judy the ball, sustain Elijah Moore, sustain Cedric Tillman. Otherwise, this game goes down as a flash in the pan.
I hear what you're saying, but this is only our second win this season, our first at home. So just let us celebrate it a little bit before we poo-poo the Ravens and their beat-up secondary, the fact that they're not very good, that they should have been running the ball a little bit more, that they had mistakes, they were shooting themselves in the foot. That was a win at home. That felt good, felt cathartic for everybody. Just let us enjoy it a little bit.
Chris, and how about the Buckeyes? It was great hearing that from Noah, too, but it wasn't. Am I wrong for saying it feels like Ohio State needs to bounce back this week against Penn State? And they won. They won the game, but it feels like a bounce back is needed here.
You know, one of the measures of a good coach is what they do after a bye. Now, Ryan Day brought the Buckeyes after a bye against Nebraska. Did not look great. A week before, Nebraska got just absolutely steamrolled by Indiana. So I think a lot of people were going into this game expecting Ohio State to do the same, especially after what happened in Oregon, where you lose by 1 point. There were a lot of naysayers there saying, well, can Ryan Day win the big one? Hey, at the end of the day, it's Oregon. We understand 1 point. Okay, let's go out. Let's get our business done with Nebraska. That didn't happen, Nick.
That didn't happen. And you look ahead now to Penn State and a quarterback in Drew Aller, if healthy, and we expect him to be.
Motivated
doesn't even go to describe it. I mean, this is a kid that grew up in Medina, Ohio, born a Buckeye fan, and Ohio State never offered him. And he went to Penn State with this on his agenda. He wants to beat the Buckeyes. He had a crack at it last year. It was in Columbus. Ohio State defensively dominated him, especially in the second half of that game. But Drew Aller is going to have another shot at it this week, and Ohio State can't be asleep at the wheel in that game, because that's really what it felt like. They were against Nebraska, is just sleeping. You can't sleepwalk against Drew Aller and Penn State. They're a much better group than they were last year.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Fill in the Blank right after this. Welcome back back to the Big Play Cleveland Show. We're going to play a little bit of our fill in the blank game. This is brought to you by Affinity Whole Health. Chris, any updates?
Been on the program now for 3 months, the personalized program that Affinity Whole Health sat down with me, took all of my measures, and put me on a program. After seeing that I had low T, I've been on treatment for that for 3 months, and I'm telling you what, I am feeling great. Not only with the Browns winning on Sunday, but also with everything and all the tools and all the resources that Affinity has given me. I've got more energy, my head is clearer, and I can just enjoy life with my kids a lot easier after a long day of work. Thank you to Affinity Whole Health. They've got offices up here in Cleveland, also down there in Columbus. I'm due for my scheduled updated appointment here in the next 2 weeks, so I'm excited to go back and do that. They can help you with a variety of health issues, so don't wait any longer. Click on the link and to set up a free consultation. You can check them out at their website, affinityWholeHealth.com.
Chris, I feel like I've seen more of you these last 2 months that you've been on Affinity than I ever have in studio for the show, on weekends for games.
Right.
So glad to see you energized over there, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with my schedule of coming up here to Cleveland, going back to Columbus, coming back up here, going to games, Guardians games, Browns games, it's a lot. Affinity Whole Health has helping me to get it done.
Okay, fellas, let's get into our fill in the blank here. The Browns beat John Harbaugh yesterday. We got to play Jim and the Chargers next week. Beating both Harbaugh brothers in back-to-back weeks would be.
It'd be cathartic on some level, right? John Harbaugh has just been nasty to us for years as the coach of the Ravens. And, of course, Jim Harbaugh and what he did to Ohio State here in the last couple of years and cheating, it would be nice to get him back in back-to-back weeks. So I would love it. I think it'd be cathartic for me. It'd be cathartic for the fans. And it'd be a heck of a lot of fun. And most importantly, a step forward for the Browns organization.
Yeah, no notes there. And you're exactly right about that last part, Chris, is it would be a massive step in the right direction of proving that what we saw on Sunday against the Ravens wasn't an admiration, and that they could beat good teams. Folks, the Los Angeles Chargers are a good team. Jim Harbaugh is going to come to town very similar to how he would with the Michigan Wolverines. They're going to want to run the ball. They've got a very good quarterback in Justin Herbert, and they're going to want to play good defense. His calling card at Michigan is the same calling card that he leads the Los Angeles Chargers with, so it's going to be another tall task for the Cleveland Browns. And if they're up for it, I think next Monday when we come in here to record the show, we're going to be feeling really good about the Browns on a 2-game win streak.
Okay, guys, this isn't in our script, but we were talking about this a little off camera. Myles Garrett as the Terminator pregame. His outfit was.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger himself has commented on that, saying it was a 10 out of 10, absolutely no notes. I did have one note, I think, for this one, Nick. He didn't look a whole lot like the Terminator. The face really wasn't there. I give him a 10 out of 10 for effort, and I think the execution, though, may have been a little bit short of his normal. Certainly, Myles does it up every single year for Halloween. Haven't seen the house yet, but he came with the costume. I thought it was good. I think he could take it to another level by really having the face nailed on that mask.
Hey, I mean, I feel like Myles takes it to a new level every year with his play on the field and with Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday, by far.
I do love
I
me some
love
Halloween.
And I love that Myles loves Halloween, and he just leans into the bit every single year with the costumes and the yard. It always does make me a little nervous when I see, I think it's just a crooked Cleveland fan in me. I see him walking in his Halloween costume. I'm like, uh-oh, no way this backfires, right? No way the Browns go out there and get steamrolled on the field after he wears his Halloween costume in. But it's always great to talk about his Terminator outfit and whatever he dresses up as after a Cleveland Browns win. So Myles, do your thing, man, and keep loving Halloween, because I love it too.
How about the best Halloween candy is?
Oh, Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, come on. Easy.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
Reese's
I'm
Pieces.
sorry.
Anything Reese's, just sign me up for every single time, no matter what the holiday, especially on Halloween. I love my
You
Reese's.
went straight to Reese's Pieces like it was so factual, not the original Reese's.
No, Reese's Pieces. Yeah, I definitely go back to old school E.T. I mean, that's where I fell in love with them as a kid. If you remember from the movie, I mean, I'm kind of dating myself a little bit. One of the first movies I ever saw, and I have loved Reese's Pieces to this day. So I will seek those out on Halloween every single time.
Anything. I'm completely in lockstep there. I'll give Twix a small like step down. Like for sure, Reese's. Anything from them is going to be one. I mean, and how about? I feel like this is kind of a newer thing maybe, but now they've got the pumpkin shaped cups, which are very good. They've got Easter eggs at Easter time, Christmas time they do the trees. So any like seasonal Reese's also gets the job done, as well as the pieces. But then Twix probably like a small step down, I think.
I love the pumpkins. I love the eggs because the surface area
it's so good.
to the interior. I think they get that ratio completely right on those that are missing in the cup.
That was my biggest qualm with the cups is the jagged edges. I'd peel them off.
Too much surface area, too much chocolate. You got to get in there. You got to get to the peanut butter. I think the eggs. I think the pumpkins do it right.
They sponsored Angel Reese. We are open. Hit us up. Hello at BigPlay.com.
I like a Snickers in mine, but I also like all the fruity sour candies. Like I'll never be mad with like Sour Patch Kids or something like that.
No candy corn. Don't give out candy corn. I don't want candy corn.
What do you have against candy corn?
You can't give that out. That's not a treat.
Yeah, but it's so festive and it's delightful.
Outside of Halloween, like in June, would you eat candy corn?
No. If it was,
then it's not good.
That's why you eat it right now.
No,
it's way better than wax. You guys got to stop. I know that I'm in the minority on this. I'll go to bat for candy corn. They're really good, just not the chocolate one, like the ones that end up brown.
I'm going to bring you all
they get a
of
little
my
crazy
candy
sometimes.
Corn. Next week after Halloween, I'm going to give you all the candy.
Don't worry about it, Chris. Nobody gives it out anymore. You're not going to have any. Nobody gives it out anymore.
Wait,
you can go buy it half off next week.
Right, November 1st, you could break your tooth off with some hard candy corn.
I think that we need to do the worst thing to find in your Halloween trick-or-treat bag would be.
We've named it candy corn.
What? You're not over a Tootsie Roll? Those stink.
Yeah, but you could at least gnaw on a Tootsie Roll.
Bit-O Honeys, Tootsie Rolls. Those aren't good.
White Sox season tickets. Something like that. That'd be pretty bad, right?
That'd be really bad.
All right, that's fair. Drop the mic right there. Okay, how about on a scale of 1 to 10, my concern level with the Buckeyes right now is?
It's an 8. Because I came into this season, we heard it from Urban Meyer. We heard it from Jim Tressel. I agree with it. We had the best roster in the nation. And so we should, by way of extrapolation, say that this is a national championship team, right? And right now we're not looking like a national championship team. Now, we'll see. Penn State is going to be the test for us. If we pass that litmus test and we look good, that's going to totally change my thinking right now because it's all about progress. Anything we've done up to this point doesn't matter. We're still setting ourselves up for that playoff, and it's ultimately what happens against Michigan and then what happens in that playoff that is going to determine the success of this season.
Present day, guys, I've got the Buckeyes on fraud watch. I really do. And a win against Penn State can change my mind there, but Ryan Day in big games scares me. I'll come out and say it. I'm worried about this game against Penn State. I'm worried about what's coming up later in November against Michigan. And ultimately, I'm worried about what will happen when the Buckeyes get in the college football playoff. Obviously, that's a far cry away from right now. A win against Penn State completely, and a good, comfortable win against Penn State subsides some of this worry. But right now, I think you have to be concerned at least a little bit because they've given you very little reason to be super optimistic about the Buckeyes, especially after what we just saw last week against Nebraska.
All right, need a decisive Ohio State win. The other thing I thought of, Boston baked beans, those also not great. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Fill in the Blank right after this. Welcome back to the Big Play Cleveland Show. We're continuing our Fill in the Blank game. We got to talk Cavs, guys. We're 3-0. This hot start for the Cavs is?
It's great. What a great start. You know, they're starting off the way that we saw them last year, which is a fun team, kind of fun to get behind. Kenny Atkinson, you know, with a new coach, I think it's very important that he comes in with a good start on this season, and so far they have. We've seen better play out of Mobley than what we saw last year. We've seen the team really play an upbeat style of basketball that we did not see under Bickerstaff, and I'm really excited about what this team can do. Now, once again, couch that a little bit, played 3 teams that, not so great, right, Nick? But ultimately, this is a team that promises to, I think, be fun throughout the season.
Yeah, regardless of the record, right? They've shown a lot of reason for optimism. Just because they've unlocked seemingly Evan Mobley, he looks really good. Darius Garland is returning to more of his truer form and being that true point guard that could run this offense. It's going to be a tall task. Or the more that I think about this, for Kenny Atkinson to sustain this throughout the entire regular season and then playoffs. I mean, JB had the team one series away from playing in a conference final. That's the bar. That's a high bar for Kenny Atkinson to clear. But I think by doing these small things, by unlocking Evan Mobley, by getting Garland back to form, by proving that you could play a modern NBA offense, I think the Cavs can get back to that point and even further. So a lot of reason to be optimistic despite who they've played thus far, which candidly are some pretty bad teams.
Okay, next 5 games are at Knicks, Lakers, Magic, Bucks. We're missing one. Anyway, the
Bucks
next
twice.
Bucks twice. Okay, we are doing the Bucks twice.
Back-to-back,
Back-to-back
yeah.
Bucks. The Cavs are going to win blank of their next 5 games.
Well, we talked about how easy the schedule was to kind of start. Now it gets a little bit tougher in the next 5 games for the Cavs. I still look at them, as a team that is trying to prove themselves early on, as a coach with Kenny Atkinson, who's trying to prove himself and what he's doing for this organization. So I think that they're going to come in a little bit motivated to these next 5 games. I see them winning 3 of the next 5. I see them splitting against the Bucks. I see them splitting against the Knicks and the Lakers there, and I see us beating Orlando. So there's our 3.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these next 5 games right here, this is where you want to be in the Eastern Conference. I mean, the new look New York Knicks, who added Karl Anthony Towns, who added Mikal Bridges. That's who the Cavs really got to prove that they're better than. And then the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis and Dame. You have 2 prime Eastern Conference foes in front of you in the next 5 games, which is huge. Not to mention Orlando, who played you very tough, took you to 7 games just last year in the postseason. Right. And then, old friend LeBron James and Bronny James come to town with the Lakers on Wednesday. So this next 5 games should be a lot of fun and should teach us a lot about this early Cavs season because, now you're going to be matched up with some of the premier teams in this Eastern Conference, something that the Cavs hadn't seen too much of early in the year.
Guys, LeBron and Bronny playing together in Cleveland on Wednesday is going to be
overhyped. I mean, I've heard enough about this. I honestly have. It's been a little bit orchestrated or a lot orchestrated, what they've put this thing together. And we get it. They had their moment. The Griffies were there. Everybody nationally saw them out there in LA. And I thought that was great. And it's a nice moment. LeBron certainly earned it. His family has. I get the significance of it. But to do it back here in Cleveland, it's okay, we've got our own team here. We've got the Cavs. We're building. We've got a lot of momentum right now. So these national stories where they try and plug them into Cleveland, I'm just not buying it.
I'm excited to see it because it is historic. And obviously this is where Bronny's life journey began, let alone basketball journey here in Cleveland. So it will be another layer to the history that is LeBron and Bronny playing together. I thought as historic as that moment was where they shared the court for the first time together, it felt a little deflating because Bronny was immediately pulled. And it's starting to become alarmingly evident that this is not really a kid that's NBA ready. And they said after this road trip and when the Lakers do return to California after they play the Cavs on Wednesday, that's going to be it for Bronny in the NBA for a little while. And he's going to do a little stint down there in the G League. And I think it's needed. So I'm excited to have this moment and to give Bronny his praise and his love and his welcome back home to Cleveland where he was born and when he picked up a basketball for the first time. But for him, I think what's going to be best is when they get back to LA, when he's able to get with the G League club and figure some things out because he shows you things. He could be an NBA player. It's just a lot of kinks that need worked out to get to that point.
That makes sense. There are some thoughts about maybe it's a little premature. Is he really ready for the NBA? But regardless, to the naysayers who are saying us is only because of his dad, but we've seen that so much in sports, though. That is a thing, and I think it's cool just because we've got the roots here in Cleveland, and their journey started here. Now that we've seen this big Browns win, blank was the issue.
Well, there's a lot of problems with the Cleveland Browns right now, but I think the most pressing issue was Deshaun Watson. We had to have a signal caller back there who could competently move this offense, and we saw that with Jameis Winston. We saw it last year with Joe Flacco. And I pin that on the organization for continuing to run Deshaun Watson out there, even though they must have seen in practice, they must have seen the fact that that offense was humming with other guys under center and not necessarily with Deshaun. So I'm looking for renewed optimism now out of the Browns. As a fan, I want to see this team kind of turn things around through the rest of this season, because I think there are some positives now that I didn't think this time last week.
And Chris, that renewed optimism is back. I feel like the people of Cleveland right now feel like in the Wizard of Oz when the Munchkins were able to celebrate because the house fell on the Wicked Witch. Yeah, the house fell on Deshaun Watson yesterday when Jameis Winston entered the Browns. It's over. There's no coming back from it. The Cleveland Browns are finally finding their path forward, and that's removing themselves away from this Deshaun Watson nightmare. It's time to find a way forward, and I think the Browns will do just that.
Deshaun Watson was very overpriced candy corn.
Very overpriced.
Just to kind of
candy
wrap
corn.
that whole conversation right there.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Big Play Cleveland show. We'll do it again next week.